Officers were called to a residence on December 15th, 2023, after a pregnant woman reported that her boyfriend, a man connected to law enforcement, had shoved her into a shelving unit and choked her.
And he just choked me in.
Twice. Her son was in the house. Her injuries were visible, and the man they were about to arrest had been on FaceTime with 2 witnesses the entire time the incident took place, which means whatever happened in that room, somebody else saw. His version and her version definitely don't match on a single detail. The first thing I noticed right off the bat is it's a middle-class Florida neighborhood. It says Daytona Beach. This is like right up my alley because it's right up the road from me.
Hello, you mind stepping out? Does he know you called us?
Yeah.
Where's he at?
In the room. He locked himself in the room.
Okay, what's going on? Come step over here.
We just got into an argument because I asked him to help him out with my son. And I'm pregnant. I'm about 4 months pregnant.
With his baby? Or?
With his child.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, can you please get off the phone with
There's some nervous laughter in there when she's talking about it's his baby, but it's an important question to ask for a couple of reasons. In Florida, the domestic violence statutes have enhancements if you have a child in common. There's also an enhancement for battery if it's a domestic situation and the perpetrator knows that the victim is pregnant.
petty little arguments, but he kept trying to shove me out of the room, close the door on me. And I asked him, please don't do that. My son was right there. I had my parents come and pick up my son. My mom's not here.
How long ago did it happen?
Just probably about 30 minutes ago.
You have marks on you?
Yeah, back here.
Are you able to lift it or
I don't
from
wanna,
the side? Or?
I don't know. I don't want to do it out here with the neighbors around.
What's his first name?
Ray.
Ray? Can I go inside?
Of course.
Can you just step over here? You can just step.
Completely reasonable. She doesn't want to do this outside, but he asked permission. Can we go inside? Which is consent. She's given consent to enter the residence.
Over here with one of these officers.
So she kept trying to get into the room to get him to talk. Hey, talk to me, talk to me. Whoever was on the phone, she said she could hear him saying, "Hey, man, stop! This is going too far." He opened the door, threw her back. She falls to the floor. She gets up. She tries to get into the room again. He opens the door, throw her back. This time, she falls into a stand, like one of those big shelves, and that's how she got all the marks on her.
Okay.
She said she hit her shoulder, hit her back, hit her arm, and hit her head. And I mean, that was about it. After that, she gets up pissed off. That's when he starts recording right here. Is all after the whole thing became physical.
Yeah.
So we skip to the inside of the house. They're conducting interviews, doing their paperwork. But some of the things you should take note of is the Christmas decorations that are out. So tensions are high. It's around the holiday season. And you can see Frosty the Snowman on the window there and the gifts piled up. They're just taking her information at this point.
Look at what's happened in the past. Look at what's happening now. And then the potential for violence in the future.
And you sure you don't want any medical assistance from us or having medical come out and take a look at you?
It will be fine. But I mean, obviously it's a very sticky situation, right? It's a very fragile situation. Obviously, under circumstances like this, the whole thing's going to be under investigation through our internal affairs. They're going to do their own investigation. I can't tell you what the outcome would be. I can't tell you what the outcome may or may not be. There's no way of anticipating any of it. So
he can walk away from this even though there's a lot of things.
There's no saying. So
that apparently is the victim's mom there, and she's asking a valid question. He can walk away from this even though he put his hands on her. The officer's trying to explain that this is going to go through the internal affairs process. They're going to make a determination because there are 2 different things at play here. There's a criminal investigation in which there's a domestic violence allegation. It looks like a felony charge because she's pregnant. And there's also the administrative side of this, which is an internal matter. If in their investigation they determine that you've committed some kind of felony or misdemeanor, it's a fireable offense. So in the due process part of this, the officer still has certain rights, even though he's a domestic violence suspect, but those 2 things are completely separate.
I mean, because he does work for the agency, so there's a lot of steps that they're going to be going through and stuff. Nobody's saying that he's lost his job at this point in time. It's going to be up to, like, Officer Maurer was explaining, it's going to be up to internal affairs and the chief of police and the training unit and all that stuff. They're going to look at the totality of the circumstances and everything that's occurred. And then, but that's
It's often reported that domestic violence is kind of high in law enforcement. It's actually just like any other profession. There are incidences of domestic violence. Although an officer sees more traumatic incidents, and it causes more post-traumatic issues. Sometimes police officers don't deal with the stress properly, and it leads to problems just like this before they get out of control. That's why it's important for a supervisor to make sure that they stay on top of their troops, to make sure that they're not getting out of control with partying or having domestic issues at home when they keep hearing the same thing over and over from the same officer. The red flag should go up and some intervention should take place before it's too late.
I remember like you've heard it.
I have to make a statement for all the families to make sure that they keep going, if they see any changes in
There
the
are 3 sides every story. You know, being an officer coming from the
I've seen
outside
those
in, you don't know the
changes
exact
myself.
thing that took place, but we do know that we're standing with injuries on your person. Okay, you've been consistent since the moment you called about what's taking place and stuff. And I would really, there's some good phone numbers on there. I'd really suggest you getting in contact with a couple of professionals and really seeing what your options are from here on out. Okay, because you're claiming this has happened before in the past, recently, a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, and
It doesn't mean
a
indefinite.
lot of times what you're seeing with victims is they'll go and they'll recant. You know, immediately they feel bad after and they recant. But
Like you're doing right now.
But then it's worse the next time.
it gets worse and worse because what ends up happening, I'm not saying that this is the case, I'm just saying in case that you've seen is, you know, they start saying.
What they're telling her is the absolute truth. Sometimes domestic violence victims can't find a way out and they start feeling bad. I mean, she's already second guessing herself because she's hearing words like internal affairs, and he's probably talked to her before about how important internal affairs is and how much the officers try to stay away from internal affairs. So she doesn't want him to lose his job. So she's already kind of rethinking her position on what happened. It's dangerous for everybody. It's dangerous for her. It's dangerous for the officer because clearly, you know, something happened and clearly they all need
I
help.
don't care. You're going to end up taking it all away or whatever, but
And that's what he was saying to me.
God forbid something happened to that baby. I would really suggest you guys go to the hospital and just get a quick check. If that whole thing is broken, you probably hit the ground pretty hard. So, and it's up to you guys, but I would.
You need to start thinking about you and these kids. All right.
He's not like a terrible guy either. It's just like.
But you can't allow yourself to think that this is okay because it's not. Terrible or not, he f***ed up. All right. He made a huge mistake. All right. That being said, this has happened before. What do you want to happen next? You know, what is it going to take for you to understand that this isn't okay?
Good luck, baby. You could have hit your head and scratched his spine. A million things could have happened. And Kobe was watching this.
Also, just so you're aware, just a little bit of advice for yourself as well when you're dealing with individuals like this. Walk away.
And that's why I feel bad because I didn't walk away when he was trying to close the door on me. He was trying to close it. I think I was more offended.
There's a difference between emotions. You're a heightened emotion, all right? But that doesn't mean it's okay for him to become physical.
What you did didn't escalate the situation to what happened. That was already living inside.
I think that he's trying to explain to her, like, there's an option where you can walk away and make that phone call to get help. He's not necessarily blaming her for what happened. She's kind of, I think, twisting it just a little bit into thinking that it's her fault somehow, but that's not what he's trying to convey. He even tries to clear it up here.
Okay. But what I'm saying is protection for yourself, being that you're pregnant, being that you have another child, take your child and walk out of the house. You guys are already at a point where you guys are living in separate bedrooms. I mean, at some point in time, it's got to be bigger than I need my mortgage paid.
No, I thought we were going to work. I've been asking him, can we go to counseling? Can we figure this out? He kept telling me yes. He's been trying to talk to me, trying to, get back on my good side. I think he knows that I was a little upset this time, but he's not the type to just go and apologize, but I know he's hard-headed.
Hey, Ray. What's up, man? You don't have any weapons on you or anything, right? Alright. We can step over here. You want to go on the back porch?
All right, very sensitive conversation to have with Ray. He's a police officer. He knows how we operate. He's probably been to a few domestics just like these. These are standard questions we ask anybody. Do you have your weapons on you? But you got to pay a little bit closer attention because things are kind of volatile in the home as it is. He's facing maybe termination if something is founded in this case by internal affairs or by through the criminal process. It's best to keep on his level so he understands why we're asking the questions we're asking, and I think he probably does.
Oh, no,
So I'm chilling, man, doing my thing in the room. She come home from running errands and shit. My son, he needy, bro. He wanna play, he gonna ask you a million questions, he gonna beg for shit all day, all night. She come home frustrated. I'm on the phone with my homies, we finna get on Call of Duty. She like, can you sit in here with him while I wrap Christmas presents? I'm like, yeah. But he laying on the couch on his iPad, chilling. I'm in my game room. But he's still acting like, yo, mommy, my stomach hurt. I'm like, yo, come here. She like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave so I can, cause he irritated. She like, I'm gonna just leave cause I can't focus.
He's irritating her?
Yeah,
oh,
she's
okay.
irritated from him from earlier. So I get him in the room, I bring like one of his little games. I'm like, let's play a game. She come to the door. Like I said, I'm still on the phone with both of my friends. He like, he in the room, he playing like this little matching game.
Mm-hmm.
And she like, she come to the door like screaming and yelling and stuff. So now he getting riled up, antsy or whatever. I'm like, you say you want to go so you can, you know what I'm saying, do what you got to do and get your alone time. So just go ahead and leave.
Right.
Now she's screaming, going off and all this shit. So I get up. I'm like, I'm not finna, I swear, I get up. Like, I'm not finna argue with you. I close the door. She try to open the door. Now I'm locking the door. Like, yo, you doing too much. Mm-hmm. She trying to stick her body inside. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Mm-hmm. So my homie's like, once you screaming to her, like, just leave. Like, you saying you want to go, leave. So she's sticking her arm all in the door. I'm like, you know what, I'll leave then. So I'm finna walk to the kitchen. She following me there. I'm like, bro. So we in the kitchen or whatever. She's still screaming like, your dirty ass friend, yada, 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 yada. So I hurry up, go back in the room, close the door. She's like, I'm finna call him. I'm like, call him. Call him. Do what you gotta do. She's like,
with your friend, were you on FaceTime?
Yeah, or? FaceTime with both of them.
Did he see everything that happened?
Both. I had to show you. You could see the call from when she called 911 to now. I just hung up with him. I heard y'all not.
Which arm was she trying to stick into the door?
I don't remember, but she kept trying to get in. I was like, I'm holding the door with my iPad, like.
Mm-hmm. You got some of it on your iPad?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like, she steady coming thing. Now she's like, I'm gonna tell the police you did this and that.
She's claiming that's from the door?
No, she claiming like through her.
Can you turn the volume up?
Yeah. I'm telling them, call whoever you need to call.
Are you able to back it up from the beginning?
That's fine.
Copy, stop, baby.
Let me have my mom come pick up my son.
Mommy, you're gonna the piece.
Yeah.
So that's the saddest part of this whole thing. She's pregnant with a child of his. I'm assuming that child is their child. And you can hear the kid. I mean, he sounds, 2.5, 3 years old. And he doesn't understand what's going on. And in a sense, he's the source of their confrontation, I guess. It's sad all the way around. The kids are generally the victims in all this, even though they don't quite understand or what they're hearing.
Dad's going to jail.
Baby, Mama, baby, do like that.
Can you send Dad to come pick just threw me around? And I have marks all over me, and he just choked me while I was pregnant. And because he doesn't want to hear that he's on the phone with his friends, and that I need help. And I told him that he doesn't need to be on the phone 24/7 while I'm doing everything, but he can't ever help with nothing but besides be on the phone when she's on the phone with his friends right now, talking about me and playing the game. Because he can't help me the simple things, right? Because he can't ever help with nothing but his own shit. Then he manhandled me, choked me, threw me against the back of the thing. The back of my head is bleeding, and the whole back of my back is bleeding. He has no marks on him, but look at me, and I'm ready to police on him. So they're gonna call police. So I need you guys to come get him.
So she's talking to a relative, a father or something. She's not talking to 911 yet, but she's making all these allegations here, and he captured the whole thing on his iPad.
He even said, Daddy did this to you, blah, blah, blah. And he threw me against the thing, the one thing that's in my house. Yep.
You know, like,
No,
Did the
thank
argument
you.
ever leave the room?
As a cop, this is how we act.
we was in the kitchen. You gonna see? I'm in the kitchen. She followed me there.
What, you gonna hit him too? You're gonna hit him too? You're gonna hit my son too?
I whoop his ass if I need to.
Yeah, okay, I dare you. I dare you. As a cop, you're a woman beater and a child beater. Stay on the phone with your friends.
I will.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep recording.
Yeah, keep recording it. Go be with them. You gotta go be with them. You got nothing else. You gotta be in jail. You gotta be in jail. You gotta be in jail. That's what you got to do. Assault on a pregnant person. That's the problem is you think that nothing ever happens. That's the problem. You think there's no consequences. That's what you. That's what. No, you have any.
This is just not a good look. It's definitely an issue. This is a young couple, and they're not acting with the maturity of trying to be a good set of parents to raise their kids. That's not for me to judge. It's just the fact. She's yelling things about going to jail and that you hit me and you threw me around, and he's just kind of like dismissing him, like, yeah, I'm just going to stay on the phone with my friends. It just isn't a good look, though, because if she's in fear. She's clearly not stepping away from the situation. It's just an escalation right now. The situation could only get worse from here. Though I'm not blaming her, I can see where things are getting even more tense, and he's just trying to remove himself from that situation, hoping she'll do the same thing.
You going to jail. You're going to jail.
Okay.
How'd you get the mark on her arm?
I got time today, my love.
She kept reaching the door. Like,
Tired of your fuck
that
shit.
ain't gonna really matter because you can make the story is
No, I understand. I was just curious what you.
Still in my face. Like, get the
No, I'm not in your face. I'm not in your face.
Somebody that
Hey,
hit
are
me,
you
I'm not
coming?
gonna keep
Because
following
I
them.
need you to come get
Steady
Kobe.
following them.
Look what he just did.
You keep on me, bothering me, following me, bro. Like, go on.
He gets the thing. And his friends are on the phone. His friends saw the whole thing. But you know, they're all so tough and they condone this for a cop. And he threw me against the thing, choked me twice. I'm pregnant. I'm so ready to call the police, but the thing is, I know the police are going to try to take it.
In case you're wondering, they're definitely going to contact that person that was on the phone with them and conduct an interview, hopefully in person, to see exactly what they saw and exactly what they heard.
CPS, so I need you to come get him for me. Because I'm ready to call the police on him. Hit my head, my ankle is up, and he thinks that this is okay. And I'm not going to keep letting him get away with all this. I'm done.
How long you been dealing with it for, with her going through it?
Look.
She, maybe like 10 minutes before y'all.
I mean, like, has this happened before? This?
Yeah, when we lived in Philly, she called the police on me. They actually took me back from Northern
Staff Philly?
Please hurry.
Yeah, and she said, like, it goes beyond us, but like, the chief, he talked to the chief out there, and she went and did a reductive statement, like, oh, I was lying.
Throw me out. Look at all this too. It's okay. Let it record everything.
He just admitted that he's been through this before, and just the same as her walking away, he has opportunity to walk away as well. If she's done this before and he's blaming her and saying that she went to the chief of police and changed her story to, that's not really what happened, he's trying to establish that this is the pattern. The pattern is that when she gets upset, she claims domestic violence, and she's claiming that the pattern is when he gets upset, domestic violence occurs. You've always got to err on the side of caution.
The choke marks on my neck too. The bleeding on the back of my head, my ankle. Yeah, your friend should be condoning this, right? Because you don't like to hear that you do nothing around the house. You think you pay mortgage and that's it. That's all you do. Like, I don't pay nothing else either. And I pay for all the food in the house. I pay for your son. I watch your son. I do everything. I call out of work. I pay for him to go to the doctor. I do everything.
Why didn't, just out of curiosity, why didn't you call when this started happening? Yeah.
Because it never gets to nothing. I'm talking about, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. She get mad at whatever she's mad at. She called her mom and them over here to come get her. They can't make her leave. So it's like, I go in the room and close my door every time.
You have your cell phone on you, or?
It's an go get it.
Are you, LT's obviously here. Are you cool if I bring this out?
Yeah.
You want your phone to keep recording while we're here?
I'm gonna stay out here.
You want your phone?
No.
Okay.
You just said LT is here, meaning the lieutenants. They are the shift commander. Normally when there's an officer involved incident just exactly like this, you're definitely going to want to notify the supervisor, especially like the shift commander or the watch commander, to get involved, because this is going to become a very sticky administrative situation, especially if there's an arrest. This becomes kind of newsworthy, and this needs to be passed up the chain of command as quickly as possible. So the person in charge of that shift would want to gather as much information as possible so they have accurate information to pass up the chain.
When you shoved her?
I never shoved her.
Oh, you were just closing the door?
The door was closed. Like, when you done talking to me, go to that room where I was in when you came to. Look at the thing. She had picked the door and come in.
All right.
Like I was telling him, my TV on the wall, dresser, my iPad sits right on that while I'm on FaceTime. I'm playing the game or whatever. So she came out the first time to the kitchen just to try to finesse her to get her out. Went back in there, closed the door. I'm sitting right there. She picked the lock, come back in. I'm like, bro, if you want to leave and go somewhere, like, go, like, leave. Go to your mom's crib. My homie them on the phone, like, yo, you record. She started threatening the police. You do this to me every time. They like record. I'm like, I can't get to my iPad. Like, if I get to my iPad, she gonna come in. So she trying to reach in or whatever, trying to grab. She finally get out because my son was like screaming and asking for something. She trying to calm him down or whatever. Then she leave. I close the door, lock it. I go over there, grab my iPad. Now I'm leaning up against the door, but I'm trying to get my iPad in. She reaching in and shit again. I just let her in. I'm like, whatever. I'm recording now. So I said, I'm record. She, yeah, I'm gonna tell the police you did all of this. I'm like, call them.
So how How did she get that? How would you suspect that she got that mark on her arm?
Probably trying to reach in the door and with the door. Probably, I don't know.
All right, because she got a mark on the back of her foot as well.
She got a bunch of.
And then there's a red mark on her neck as well.
Like I say, I didn't touch her at all. I know y'all doing y'all investigation, but I didn't come out that room. I was on FaceTime the whole entire time.
Right. I know we don't know each other, but I'm gonna be real with you. You know how these investigations go, and unfortunately, you are going to be placed under arrest right now, okay? So if you can just do me a favor, stand up and just toss the hands behind your back, and then I'll give you an opportunity to make your statement and stuff, okay?
Yep.
Well, compliance. It's a major issue today, and you saw this guy here who is making his case that he didn't do anything wrong. He did his best to get out of the way, according to him. They still broke the news to him that, hey, you're going to end up going to jail. And he just stood up and he put his hands behind his back. He's a big man. Stood up, put his hands behind his back. He knows that there's a different day in the court of law where he's going to get his opportunity to give his side of the story before he's convicted if they end up charging him. When I say if they end up charging him, I mean there's a difference between the police charging with probable cause and the district attorney or state attorney's office charging him on behalf of the people to the point where he has to answer to those charges and stand trial.
You don't have anything on you, let me just pat you down real quick. The weapon's on your person, right? Spread your feet for me a little bit.
Notice under the officer's hand there's 2 sets of handcuffs. This is a big guy, and sometimes you just got to handcuff one wrist and then cuff that to another set of handcuffs because they're so big. Like, he's got some pretty big arms.
You good? All right, you want your window cracked a little bit? All right.
He's probably not used to being in the back seat of the patrol car. He looks like a big guy, probably one of the most uncomfortable places to begin with, especially with your hands cuffed behind your back. But if you ever find yourself in the position back there, try not to sit on your hands because that's when the cuffs start digging into your wrist.
Y'all ready? All right.
If you're not familiar with this setup, it's called a sally port, and what it essentially means is there's a garage area where you pull in and the prisoner's still in the back seat, the guy you have under arrest, and both garage doors are shut. So essentially to prevent escape, then you take the person out and then bring him into the jail that way. Before the officer even enters a jail like that, it's probably a good idea to do one more search before you go inside. But you, as the officer, have to remove your firearm, your pepper foam or pepper spray if you're carrying that, your ASP baton, your taser, all of the stuff that anybody can be hurt with if you bring it into the prison or jail. You can't bring it into the jail for any reason.
Shoot, some quick questions before we get started the booking process. You got any wounds or skin body? Any injuries or anything that requires medical attention before we start the booking?
It's a medical clearance before he steps foot in that jail, because oftentimes if they're too sick or they're too injured, they will deny access to the jail and they'll have the officer take him straight to a hospital to get a medical doctor to clear him.
Were you working out earlier?
Yeah, I was actually working on this at home.
Y'all got a little gym in there?
Yeah. You got that?
Okay. Thank you. stop the shooting?
Did he have shoes?
Yeah.
What's up, bro? You doing all right?
You doing okay?
Yeah, man.
Shoes, socks, look at that shirt.
Pants.
Shirt, pants. He's got underpants as well, long sleeve underpants. With us.
Numbers for my phone?
I'm sure he doesn't fucking have me.
When he was in the vestibule there in between from the Sally Port to the interior of the jail, you can see that he's casual in his conversation. He's not a whole lot worried about this, which could be taken two ways. Like he's just completely used to it, or he knows what the outcome is going to be because he didn't do anything wrong. Court records on this one were limited, so we weren't able to confirm the final disposition of the case. What we can say is that Ray was placed under arrest that night on domestic violence charges, and an internal affairs investigation was opened given his connection to law enforcement. We'll update if more information surfaces, and honestly, whatever the outcome, we hope that the both of them get the counseling and the help that they very clearly need.